Hey, church family, want to come to you with an update regarding COVID-19 in our state and the latest announcements that we've received. Exciting news is it seems that we're on the downward slope, meaning things are beginning to open back up. And so for us as a church, that means we're beginning to have the opportunity to move towards in-person gathering. And so we're excited about that. We're excited to see you. And so we've been praying about that over the last couple of days specifically, but even before that, we've really been seeking the heart of God on what He's doing in our church and how He's wanting us to move into the next season of the life of our church. And so we've come up with a three-phased approach to reopening our church. And much of that has to do with what's coming down from the leadership of our state and the feedback that we're getting from our church community. So there's a document that goes along with this video that you'll see just below that I want to make sure that you read, which will have much more details than what I'm about to share. But I want to share a little bit of the heart behind it. And so phase one begins here on May 15th with the stay-at-home order being lifted. We're moving into phase one. During phase one, we are going to continue having online services and encouraging you to have church at home with your family. The governor has still advised that we are to avoid large group gatherings. And so with that, we're going to continue providing that online Sunday morning church experience. However, we're encouraging our life groups to begin meeting together in limited ways. We may still need to find out ways to limit those numbers or to figure out how we can socially distance, because that was one of the things that he urged us to do. But we're excited about having the opportunity to begin meeting together again in smaller groups. And so that'll be such a wonderful experience after having been separated for so long here. Also, as a part of phase one, we're going to continue to have Jesus Hour. And we want to invite people to be involved in the Jesus Hour, this time of prayer and worship that's been so good and so many have been tuning into online. You're going to continue to be able to tune into that online. We're also going to have a sign up for those that want to come and be a part. And we're having people sign up because we still need to keep it limited, but we want to give people the opportunity to be here. And so you can sign up to be a part of Jesus Hour online. We love to have you here. And so that's phase one as we begin to gradually move back towards meeting together. Phase two will begin June 1st. And in phase two, I have probably the most excitement because God really began to speak to us. And we actually feel like that God has been speaking even beyond what we know in terms of how the state will continue to open up. But what we're going to do during phase one is to continue to provide online content for Sunday morning services. In fact, we will still not be meeting together here in the sanctuary on Sunday mornings through the month of June, but what we're going to be doing is having what we're calling life group church. We're going to be encouraging all of our life groups to meet on Sunday mornings and to experience church together. That is, to worship together, to pray with one another, to sit under the teaching of the Word together, and then to facilitate response amongst one another. And we really believe that this is God's initiation with us to strengthen our life groups. I actually want to take just 1 minute and take you back to the beginning of the year. It seems like forever ago, but we opened up this year with something called Clarify the Wind, which was our vision for the next 2 years. And it feels like, oh yeah, what we forgot about that. But at the heart of Clarify the Wind was strengthening ourselves as a people, going deep in God, getting healthy in Jesus, so that as we grow as a church, we will do that in a healthy, mature way. And at the very center of that was life groups, that if our life groups can be healthy and deep, and there could be maturity there, and there could be intimacy in our community and with Jesus being facilitated in those times, then when we grow as a church, that we would do that in a way that's really life-giving. And so that was the heart of Clarify the Wind. Well, then all of a sudden COVID-19 hits, and now we're not even having life groups. But interestingly enough, a large part of the testimonies that we've heard about Zoom life groups, though I know we're getting tired of them, but is that there's actually been a grace upon them, and community has increased. So new people have been coming. The camaraderie is high, and there's even this expectation and expectancy to meet together because we want to see one another, and there's a growing fondness. And so we're encouraged at what God was doing, and even more so, we're encouraged at how God, we feel, is giving us this month of June, phase 2, to meet together as life group churches. That God wants to strengthen our core in life group as he prepares to grow us as a church. And it's like, whenever could we have canceled church and just said, hey, for a month we're not doing church, we're just doing life groups? That would have been very difficult to do, but now God's kind of set us up and said, hey, here's an opportunity. And so I want to encourage you, if you're not a part of a life group, to find one. That's where church is happening. That's where we're doing church the whole month of June. It's going to be in a life group. And so we also want to encourage you to invite neighbors. Like, hey, we're having church at our house. Got a few friends coming over. We're going to be doing church at our house. And it follows really right in line with the series that God initiated with us on the book of Acts. They were meeting house to house. They were sitting under the teaching of the apostles. They were praying together. They were eating together. They were doing house church. And so we feel like this is something God has initiated with us. And even if the governor comes out in the month of June and says, hey, you can start meeting back together, we feel like God has actually preempted that order and said, I want you to meet as life group churches during the month of June. Also, during the month of June, we're going to be, during phase 2, we're going to be opening up Jesus Hour. So if you want to come and be a part of Jesus Hour, we're going to invite you to come and be a part of that as we continue to pray through this season. There's also going to be some other events that are happening with our zones. The final phase will be phase 3, and that's beginning in July, where we plan on reopening the church with any of the precautions that need to be taken at that time. Things like limited kids ministry that will be a part of that phase 3 experience at the beginning. But we'll be excited to be reopening the doors of the church on July 5th and moving forward with a strengthened base from our life groups and the community that God has given us. One other thing that I'd like to say is that during that phase 2, we're planning on having a couple of worship nights outdoors here on the church property. So be looking for those, as we still want to have some opportunities to gather corporately and worship together. But we are excited and envisioned. God is in this. This isn't just something that's happened to us. This isn't just something that we're being told what to do by others, though we want to honor in every way what our state leadership is leading us in. We feel like God is leading us as a church, that he is not rocked, that he is not caught off guard, but that he is moving us forward in ways that we never could have done ourselves. And so we're excited for you to jump on board with us to move forward as a church. And the last thing I'll say is that obviously we're making these plans in advance. We're wanting to lay them out. If anything needs to be changed because of feedback we're getting from the church or because of new announcements from our leadership, then we'll do that. And when we may have to do that, we understand that. And we also understand that there may be those that are not quite ready to hop into these phases because of your own health or because of your own comfort, and we understand that. And there is grace for you. And we're still going to be providing Zoom opportunities and online opportunities for you to join in with what's going on in the church body. So we're with you. We're for you. I pray and hope that you're envisioned as I am for all that God is doing in this season. So let's move forward together as a church. Love you guys.